screens, it's a plot to drop the IQ. Fighting amongst each other over rumors that don't like you. Prefer us trapped in melancholy with the wood ones of holly. Suggestions that obliterate to camouflage the folly. Attempted mental robbery, executed sloppily. The pomp proceed is mockery and walk the talk with me. Put the hands up to touch the Akasha, cause you know deep down there's something bigger than your wallet.
Sweet eternal balance of all that is good, true, and beautiful, friends. Welcome back to Rogue Soul. I'm Lindsay Sharman, your host. I'm a spiritual healer and teacher, decades of experience with transformational arts, helping people to uplift all of themselves and all of the world in the spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical levels. I'm a psycho-spiritual shamanic practitioner. I do sound healing, I do soul retrieval, I do past life help, work and integration, tarot readings, and more. And you can find everything I do at roguesoul.org, as well as many other places, such as my Substack, where I share channeled messages from the spiritual ancestors. That's at rogueways.substack.com. And also my books are available on my site, on Audible, on Barnes & Noble, Amazon, anywhere books are sold, under my name, Lindsay Sharman. All of that is linked to from roguesoul.org. It's the hub for everything that I do. Today, we're talking about the August Tarot Outlook. So I'm going to share with you my tarot reading for August 2025. And I'll also remind you, this might be the first time you're hearing Rogue Soul. Rogue Ways has been my brand of my show for so long, and Rogue Soul has been the name under which I do my spiritual work. It's the name of roguesoul.co is my official corporate entity name. And so I've just decided to sort of merge those so my branding is consistent across everything that I do, and it's more aligned with everything I do. So Rogue Soul is the way. So if it's new to you, welcome. And if it's old to you but new, then welcome anyways. I am available for one-on-one sessions with you, just as I always have been. I'll have the show will continue as it always has been. So nothing's really changed. It's just more aligned with the branding that I've gone with over time. So Rogue Soul it is. If you type in rogueways.org, you'll still get there. It's just roguesoul.org is the main domain name and the name of everything I do now. So Rogue Soul it is. And I'll just remind you, in our yearly tarot reading that I did back in December for all of 2025, our card for August was Kali the Destroyer. And it's a Wands energy in this deck. Kali she's the mother of Wands, and very fiery, very active, often outward, often societal in nature, interpersonal, relational. In other ways, however, what I've been shown and told about August's Kali energy is that a lot of it's internal too. So while we're going to see destruction happening in the world, and we have seen already this could be coming in the form of storms and all the energy that's coming into the earth from the greater solar system and cosmic system as we're crossing this galactic current sheet in this geomagnetic excursion. We'll see a lot of things that are being attributed to climate change, but are actually all this new energy coming into the system externally, driving all of this force, driving all of this energy and this change. So we might see storms. We've seen also that we might see war, hot war with bombs and guns and fighting going on, not this sort of cold fifth generation nonlinear warfare we've been seeing for many years, but maybe a little bit more of that hot war sort of action. Not fun, any of this, right? A lot of this might feel very confronting, very overwhelming, very scary. We feel less sure, we feel less confident. The energy of Kali, however, invites us to remember that things actually will be destroyed no matter what. There's nothing in the physical universe that will last forever. Every form is momentary, every form is transient. There's nothing you've ever seen or experienced that won't pass. And so this just is a moment in time where things are going to be releasing, and that in the ultimate level, while it may be sad or difficult, or we have to go through our grief, or we have to go through our letting go process or our transformational processes, it does actually serve us at the highest level. It's really hard to think about that in terms of war or possible famines or possible storms or losing humans, and it's hard, right, for us to do that. And so at no point are you being asked to become like an unfeeling person who doesn't respond. It's more so that it might just be helpful for you to remember you're an eternal piece of the eternal. And this experience you're having here is momentary, it's temporary. Everything you were ever going to experience here was always going to go, including yourself. So it's a moment to really confront that. And throughout August, we might see that in various ways. So again, it's internal, even though the Kali action will seem very external. It'll be happening around us in various ways. But we always just want to keep an eye to the internal too, because we're also letting go of parts of ourselves that no longer serve us. And those are the limited parts. They're the clutching and the grasping and the attached parts. They're the parts that don't see ourselves as eternal. They're the parts that want to stay, what we call stability, but is actually stagnancy. So those parts of us we're just releasing as well in this Kali sort of fire energy. So that's August energy overall. That was back in the yearly reading. We got that reading for August specifically. But today we're going to go into, as we usually do, the economic outlook, the physical health outlook, the mental and emotional health outlook, the relational outlook, the societal aspects, a spiritual message, and then the overall message. So let's get into that right now. We'll start here with the economic message, and the card for the economy in August was alchemy. Major arcana, high energy card, big transformation. This really, the message I'm getting is this is the sort of deeper letting go of the old ways of economic relations and exchange and moving further into the new ways. I know there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of resistance, there's a lot of possible, really horrible enslavement that can come from some of these new economic systems, like central bank digital currencies, with the Bitcoin and the digital currencies. There is that fear. The highest outcome for humanity, though, is that we do have something like Bitcoin, at least, or Bitcoin itself, which is a decentralized currency for all of humanity to use to exchange freely without control from a centralized authority, like all of our currency always has been. We have always been controlled from a central authority up to this point. And we have the potential now to finally free ourselves, and that's massive. You can't even understand. It is a huge moment in humanity's evolution to experience such. And yes, the potential is still there that this can be used against us too. It could become centralized through central bank digital currencies and the like. But if we can hold on to the decentralized aspect, we can evolve as a society, as a larger world, as a larger humanity. So we're alchemizing this, right? And so we're riding this thin line between the good and the bad, the old and the new, right? And we're trying to keep that middle path balance, just like this alchemy card indicates here with that sharp line dividing. They're very different things we could fall into from here moving forward. And we want to keep it clear in our heart and our mind that what we want is freedom, most of all. Freedom above all else. If you want to then call that decentralization, there's another more technically accurate aspect or way to reference this freedom. And everything else is enslavement. So we really are on this deep division, and that's what alchemy is about. It's like you can see the absolute stunning light and you can see the deepest, darkest hole all at the same time, and you're trying to really outcome to the side that veers towards the light. So stunning differentiation, stunning division between what we're choosing and what we could create. We're riding it towards the light. The fact that alchemy is upright here is a big plus for us. So whatever developments might happen economically with digital currencies, Bitcoin and the like, it seems like it's heading towards that light version. It also seems like there may be some effects that are more noticeable to us in August, maybe some more big advances in that direction, or some perhaps falling away of the move towards the enslavement centralized aspect, right? We might see some of that dropping away. So some big shifts expected in August, which also might affect us in other ways, just practically. So as has been true for the past few years with these readings, you do always want to keep an eye towards just making sure you have what you need in case there's a couple weeks or a couple months where things get really unstable. You just want to be able to have what you need, right? So you have water, you have food, you have whatever you might need, and so take care of yourself in those ways. There's no hint that big breakdowns are coming in August. It's just good advice, and we've been getting that advice almost every month in these readings. So good messages, good energies, good things to keep our eyes on in the case of our economy moving forward. So that's that. We'll get into our physical health then, and this is really hopeful too. We have Father of Swords here, and this is represented by Ra in this deck, the sun god, right? Some of the highest consciousness that you can find incarnated on Earth, really, especially in terms of just pure intelligence and confidence and leadership. That's what this really is embodied here. So very highly mentally cognizant and effective. And so this would usually imply a leader, and it does in this case, is what I'm told. So either a leader we already have, maybe not everyone recognizes this person as brilliant as they are, but this person is going to accomplish big things for our physical health in August. I would just guess that this is RFK. I don't have any specific loyalty or deep criticisms of him. He's just a guy. I appreciate some things he does, and I could criticize some other things he does. But I would guess that that's who this is referring to. This isn't trying to paint him as your God or your savior. It's just saying that there's probably some big moves that are directly going to benefit your health and wellness in August that are specifically led by someone of this caliber. So I can't think of anyone else who's in a position to do that kind of work for us. So I would expect that, but who knows? Maybe someone new rises up and takes hold and takes everybody into a new place of wellness. But we've seen some big moves on the front of just making our food supply, food production, our medicines and different things a bit safer and a bit higher quality. And so maybe we'll see more like that. But our physical health is being directed by an intelligence that has our best interest at mind. And again, it's an upright placement. It's a good forward movement. So I expect good things in this department in August, even as other things may be falling apart and very intense. So we always want to keep our eye on what's good, true, and beautiful out there, even as other things are a bit unstable as they move towards this transformation that all of Earth is going towards in this time. So that's our physical health. Pretty good, actually. Pretty good outlook there. Pretty hopeful. We have in our mental and emotional spot a physical heaviness, or at least a physical doubt or fear. And so this is the Six of Stones reversed. It's a card of success. Normally this card would be upright and it would represent physical wellness, monetary success, good stability, and maybe even a higher chance of some sort of spiritual aspect of fulfillment within that physical success. Something like a good job that really aligns with your purpose and gives you all the money you need, right? Reverse, it would not necessarily mean that's not happening. It would often just mean like there's trouble getting there, there's trouble accepting it, or there's trouble really being in alignment with it, but it's available, right? But you might feel blocked from it, or might just not be coming in as easily. It might even be something like there's a check with your name on it, but for some reason it's held up somewhere, right? It's on its way, but it's not quite there. That might be some of the reversal energy. This is in our mental and emotional spot for the month of August, though. And so this is really indicating that people's mental and emotional states are really caught up in this fear of a lack of abundance or a lack of stability, this fear of not having a spiritual alignment with our abundance and purpose. It's really interesting, actually, because I was guided to offer the 8-8 Lionsgate portal activation, spiritual blessing, and upliftment. And so this is something anybody can go book. This is virtual. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. You can find it on my Calendly. It's actually scrolling below you right now, calendly.com/rogueways. And you can book it. It should be the first thing you see there to book out of all the tarot and sound healing and things I offer. And so if you book that, you're going to be able to come and receive this high activation and blessing around your abundance being aligned with your purpose, receiving abundance in alignment with our soul purpose. Super powerful blessing to receive. So I'm very honored that I was called to offer this to people. There should be plenty of spots left if you want to come. There's a good group of people already signed up to join us. You don't ever have to show your face or say anything. You can just pop in and be there to receive. And if you can't be there live, it is recorded just for the people who are there so that anyone who couldn't come live can come and still receive the blessing. So don't feel bad if you aren't able to be there live with us. You can still access this. So interesting that this is coming up, right? That people are going to be specifically confronting this fear, this doubt, this deeper worry of the lack of stability, the lack of abundance, the scarcity. And what's interesting is that there's a reason this is reversed. It's because it's actually a lie. There's no such thing as scarcity or lack of abundance. Every resource we can think of is actually infinite. The material world is not infinite, really, but it is of the infinite. And so there's nothing that you could ever need that couldn't be supplied to you. We talk about this a lot, or I talk about this a lot in my shows and my channeled messages. This comes through a lot as well, that you could be in the middle of a disaster zone and you could still find everything you need and more and feel comfortable. It's very true. I remember once I was walking, it's kind of a silly example, but it's a good example of that we're never without what we need. I was walking and I was getting hypoglycemic and I was far from anywhere where I would have been able to find food. And I knew for sure I wouldn't make it if I didn't have something to eat and I didn't have anything on me to eat. So I kind of prayed and I was like, I need something, either sustain me or something. And I literally turned a corner and there were 2 Nutri-Grain bars on the ground in front of me, unwrapped or wrapped, perfectly wrapped, not open, nothing, not damaged, just sitting there. So I got my sugar dose I needed to get home and, eat a more sustainable meal. But wow, right? These sorts of things are how it goes. So even when it seems improbable, even when it seems unlikely, even if you were to see the economic, situation is shifting and that alchemy situation is like, which way is it going to go? Where are we going to land? You still have abundance. You still have everything you need. So our goal in August is to flip this sort of around and see everything as stable, as whole, just like this circle of stones would imply, as the light is shining through them, implying that actually we think it's the stones sustaining us, but it's actually the light sustaining us. It's not actually a physical problem at all. It's remembering that we are in abundance always, supported always, and exactly where we should be. So as much as logic tries to tell you to be scared and worry and freak out, try not to. Really, you have to actively remind yourself that everything is exactly as it should be. So let the logic brain go. Step into your abundance mindset and your connection to source. And that's our mental emotional message for August. Our relational message and energy has this interference. This is the 8 of Swords. This is usually with our closest loved one, our romantic interest. Every once in a while, it's just with our sort of closest people. But especially if we're in a long-term relationship, this is with our spouse, our loved one, our soulmate. And this 8 of Swords energy, as you can see, is this grid of swords just choking this tree so that it just like can't grow, can't spread out. There's a lot of hurt here. There's a lot of that bloody energy you can see around the tree here. It's not a happy energy. It's being blocked, right? So life force is being blocked. Growth is being blocked. And the things that are doing the blocking, those swords, each one of those is a mental concept, a mental construct, an old belief, a limiting belief, an old conceptual framework that doesn't work anymore. So you really want to ask yourself, where in my relationships is this old, outdated belief system really, really clamping me down and not letting me grow? It's not that you should look at the people around you and blame them. That's not helpful. Instead, you should say, what am I doing? What am I holding? What am I holding on to? Or what belief do I have that's keeping me in this place where I'm actually stagnant and stuck? So sometimes it is that we've outgrown some relationships. Again, we can't blame the other person. We have to take responsibility and say, I need something else besides this. I'm ready for something new. And sometimes that's the energy that we need to take to get rid of some of these swords. Other times it really is like old patterns that we've created in our trauma that we're actually enacting with the people around us, with our significant other or with our closest friends, which is old stuck energy too, right? We have this belief, for example, that we're better than people, right? I'm better than people. And so I deserve, to receive all of this and not give or something, right? Something like that. Or if you have this belief, people don't really like me. People don't really love me. Well, these swords are actually your own swords that you've shoved in and you're holding yourself hostage here. Maybe people are trying to give you love and you're just not accepting it. Maybe they want to be closer to you, more intimate, more supportive, but that's just not how you roll. So this isn't about blaming and looking out. It's looking at your lack of growth and where you're stagnant and where you're holding yourself hostage with old ideas about yourself, old ideas about other people, old patterns based on old traumas, and really start to remove each of those swords. So the good news is this is upright, and that you might be able to identify some of those swords a little bit easier if you have a mind to do so. If you're asking your spiritual guidance for help doing so, if you're really looking at, okay, I want to know what part do I play in this relationship, and any of its stagnancy or any of its lack of growth, I want to see that about myself, then you're going to be guided to do so. You don't have to sit and puzzle it all out in a moment. You just have to be open to that and ask for that and let it unfold before you, and just keep checking in with it, right? Where could I amend my own choices and behaviors about my beliefs, about my concepts, in order to be more growth oriented and free myself of old stagnancy? So that's going to be coming up for us in our relationships. A good thing. We can honor that and be excited for it, even as it might stir up some muck. It's always good to be more growth, more freedom. In our societal energy, we have the Four of Swords here, and this is the card of truce. I feel like we've had this for maybe in some recent months. I'd have to go back and look, but I feel like we've had this for a while. There's a great opportunity here, and a lot of people I'm hearing might be sort of like flipping sides, and it's mostly towards growth. So the upright nature of this is good. The bubble that you see here in this leaf is kind of hidden. This is like the hidden opportunity people will have. You know, both sides are going to be, and when I say both sides, I mean in any situation societally. So it can be like left, right. It can be like decentralized currency to centralized currency. It can be all these different issues with just the different sides of them. They're really going to be more apparent to people. So there may be a more self-awareness of like, oh, is this the idea I really hold? And is that what they really think? And more curiosity, right? And therefore more ability to move towards higher levels of understanding and growth, higher levels of self-awareness. You might not see a lot of independent individual people flip sides, but this is a sort of shift that's going on. And really, the reality is we all come closer to center, right? That middle path thing again, right? We all come towards this like, okay, the other side isn't evil. I'm not evil. Where are we actually meeting here? So the truce energy is good. The potential to lift here that you see represented in this card, in the feather and the floating leaf, is good. The opportunity in that bubble is really good. There's a lot of good potential here. There's one, warning that would be suggested in this card for all of us, and especially societally, that we're just remaining true to ourselves. You don't want to ever be in a position where you're like, well, I'll just back off because it's uncomfortable for people and I don't want to push it. There's space for that. It's cool to be diplomatic sometimes. It's not always bad, as long as you're not just doing it like, I'll just roll over and let it be whatever, right? You just want to be in your truth and your genuine space. You don't want to be dishonest about it. Really, it's harmful for you, and it's also harmful for others when you're not honest. So again, diplomacy, cool. Sometimes backing off, cool. In general, though, you don't want to do a truce energy where you're just giving up on yourself and stepping into disingenuous energy, right? You just want to be true. That's all. So keep that in mind, but look for some more, at least backing off of hating each other, if not some coming together in August. And, it's interesting because if some of that Kali energy we talked about for the month, or some of the big shifting energies in the economy and other things, if that's really confronting, we do tend towards this energy as humans in general. When a disaster comes, you don't ask people who they like as president before you help them, you just help them. And so sometimes that's exactly where we get when we have some confronting, absorbing issues that pop up for us. So that might be why we see some of this in August. Either way, it's a good opportunity for all of us to step forward and up and into a little bit more alignment with each other without losing our integrity, without sacrificing who we are. Good energy there. Our spiritual energy, however, is a bit overwhelming. Our spiritual message is that we may feel as though we are confronting some of the largest challenges we could imagine and failing. So this is the Chariot reverse, and the Chariot upright is that energy of confronting spiritual challenges and just rolling right through them, which doesn't mean you're not scared. And it doesn't mean everything just feels perfect, but it just feels like, okay, I'm at least going to be able to do this. Like, I trust that. And this can be so many things that it's always hard to say, because we all have our own spiritual path. We're all at our own spiritual point. We all have our own spiritual struggles, but it's almost always deep in your psyche. Some of the oldest struggles you have, some of the oldest, therefore, traumas or karmas you have. And reverse like this indicates that we will at least imagine that we are or could be failing to overcome them, to confront them well, to move through them. The main reason we do that is, as we were talking about towards the beginning of this reading, is that we imagine we could fail. We imagine we aren't infinite or aren't eternal. There actually is no failing, not really. So this is all in our head. It's all that we could imagine that it could be true. We can imagine that we could fail. It's the only failure we could ever actually have. So you will always manage to overcome eventually. You will always manage to see your strength and your abilities. And more importantly, in this card, it's reversed. It's maybe harder for you to see, but there's this energy standing behind the person on fire, which is you. And that energy behind the person on fire is your spiritual guides and allies. All of them. So, there's one in the card, but it's representing that energy. It's bigger than you, as you can see. It's behind you, as you can see. Right? You might think, oh, I'm facing this horrible problem and the problem's looking at me and it's like way bigger than me. But the problem is seeing this much bigger, more eternal aspect of you and all the spiritual guidance and allies you have. And the problem's actually scared. The demon is scared. It's like, oh God, you're the one imagining the fail. You're imagining that you could fail. So the imagining of it isn't, empty. It's dangerous. It is effective to imagine you could fail, meaning you'll feel you have failed and your experience will be that of failure if you insist on hanging on to that. Now, you can go through a lot of struggle and turmoil in life, and if you know for sure you will make it, you are eternal, you are supported, it doesn't actually matter what happens. So the physical playing out is much different and less important than the spiritual, mental, and emotional energy you carry through it. As we said, all things will pass. All things will be destroyed. So what is it that's actually eternal within you, and what can you recognize of that even amidst the hardship? So whatever you come up against in August, it is actually of a spiritual nature. It's actually within, again, back to that theme. And the more you can remember your eternal nature, that you are absolutely connected to source, to God, that your spirit is indestructible and that you will be forever, and that there's nothing that could ever actually destroy you or harm you, the better off you are. It can be really hard to connect to that sometimes, depending on how big the struggle is. It can be really hard to. And so what you have to do is do it anyway. It's actually a practice that we build up. It's like they say, courage isn't the lack of fear. It's the ability to act in spite of the fear. Or spiritual connection is the same. This moment of the chariot reversed, or the feeling like we could fail or harm ourselves spiritually, that's not the thing. The thing is that we remember anyway. We choose to remember anyways that we are this eternal spark and that we have this spiritual support, whether we know it or not. Some people say, oh, I don't know who my spiritual guides and allies are. Fine, but you have them. So, right? Maybe you'll learn who they are, what they are someday. I can help you with that, by the way, but at least you have them. And that's what matters. So whatever the struggle, you have to choose to remind yourself of that. Trust me, I've been into hell multiple times, and each time I work to just hold on to that truth so that I can carry myself back out, or be carried back out of that hell. So I know how hard it is. It's a choice we have to make. It's a choice we have to make. I'll say it again because I think a lot of people don't understand that you have to make that choice. You're the only person who can. No one else can do it for you. So you got all the support you need in order to do it. I hope you do. I'm here for you if I can help you through that time or any other like it. And our final message for August overall is that of the Hermit. The Hermit, such a good energy actually, and it's actually the answer to the Chariot reverse. Saying, outside of whatever you're facing, whatever things, if they feel overwhelming or they feel, insurmountable, you go within, right? That's a thing. You go within. You go within. The hermit, he seems like he's going without. He's going to the top of the mountain, but the top of the mountain is a metaphor for the top of your consciousness and the deepest place within your heart. The hermit retreats from society, retreats from the external world in order to go within, in order to go to the top of the consciousness, in order to travel to the top of the mountain and meet with God. That's what he's doing here. That's what that light in the sky is, source, right? And he's so in touch with source that this lantern he carries is carrying a bit of that light. And when you're done doing that, you get to come back out to the world and you have the light to carry with you. That's what the lantern is. So you've gone within, you've connected with source so deeply that it has protected you and fulfilled you through whatever might be going on externally. And when you come through hell, you come out down from the mountain, you will have the light to share with everyone. So this is August, right? You might need to spend a lot of time going within, maybe in meditation, or maybe just in prayer, or maybe just in taking some time each day to remember your soul and your connection to source. And that choosing to remember that actually changes everything. It's a practice. That's why we practice. And that is August's message. So a bit of economic balancing of the old and the new. We've got some leadership coming forward in our physical health. It might give us even more physical health, or the ability to access it, or feel empowered around it. We might have some fear around losing health, losing money, or losing stability. But we have to remember that there is no scarcity in the infinite universe. We have our Eight of Swords interference on the relational level. So we'll be seeing where we can pull out some old beliefs, old limiting concepts, and free ourselves there. Societally, we'll have some truce energy, which again, we just want to make sure we're true to ourselves, but be open to shifting upwards, shifting consciousness, seeing things from a different perspective, and inviting others to do the same. And then we've got that Chariot Hermit combo where we're going to be facing some really deep things within ourselves, and we might fear that we won't make it, but we're going to go deep within. We're going to connect to source. We're going to get through whatever we imagine is our hell that we're in, and we're going to have a brighter light to show for it. So a lot of Kali energy in August, a lot of turmoil, a lot of hot energy, a lot of movement, and a lot of destruction. But it's good destruction. It serves us in the end. So we're going to remember that the best we can, honor it the best we can. And I'm happy to work with you in whatever ways serve you. If you go to, again, calendly.com/rogueways, you can see my 8/8 Lionsgate full moon abundance and purpose blessing and activation. That will be really powerful. It's a short, they're usually an hour or so, and again, can be recorded if you can't make it live. You can sign up at your own time, at your own leisure, at a time that works for you, for a past life tarot reading or a life path tarot reading. I also do the Lightning Oracle, which is also a quick hour and a half. Everyone gets a message channeled through from their spiritual guides and allies. It can be an answer to a question. The question doesn't have to be spoken aloud. It can just be a message that you want to receive. And those are really powerful healing sessions as well. I also do sound healing and more. It's all here on Calendly, calendly.com/rogueways. And you can also go to roguesoul.org to find my Calendly, to find everything else I do, to find the books, and to connect with me directly, stay in touch. And of course, you can also go to the Substack, where I channel messages through from the spiritual ancestors and have other writing there as well. And so I hope you become a subscriber at rogueways.substack.com. Thank you so much for being here and being you through this time of very intense transformation on Earth, both within each of us and also at the collective levels. It is a powerful time to be alive. I'm happy to be here with you. And until next time, travel well, aim for balance, and always look inside first. Mwah.
To them screens, it's a plot to drop the IQ. Fighting amongst each other over rumors that don't like you. Prefer us trapped in melancholy with the wood wands of holly. Suggestions that obliterate to camouflage the folly. Attempted mental robbery, executed sloppily. Hypocrisy, this mockery, and walk the talk with me. Put the hands up to touch the Akasha, cause you know deep down there's something bigger than your wallet.